What's going on? It's your boy Will My Craven coming to you another day with another video. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. We'll greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, I'm gonna jump right on into this. I felt the need to do this video after having a discussion with my son. There's a lot of talk about therapy and how brown-skinned men need to go to therapy, and there's no shame in going to therapy. And I seen that transpiring a lot with the whole Amaran situation, and it was very interesting to me because honestly, I don't believe that therapy is technically necessary when you've actually been taught right. And I spend a lot of time when I go to work talking to different guys, trying to get their heads on straight and how to process things, because it becomes apparent that they just weren't taught that, and therefore their decision making is not the greatest. So even in his situation, the decisions that he made as far as Amaran goes, and people feeling like he needed therapy, no, man. A lot of things just simply don't require therapy. And as a man, this is like me and my son, we were just having this conversation not long ago about the things he did today that weren't correct. So what did I say to him? What did you do wrong? He stated what he did wrong. Then we got to the meat and potatoes. How can you fix it? He gave me his answers. I said, no, I need you to go further and deeper. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's correct. So this is what we talked about. And at the end of our conversation, I turned around and I explained to him that I make very few bad decisions because this is how I think every day. At the end of my day, I process what I did wrong and how can I not have that happen again on the next go around. So the things that I do, I'm always taking in consideration how is it going to affect the next person. I tell my son this all the time, who's standing behind this camera. The decisions and choices you make is going to affect somebody else alongside with you. Do I not tell you this?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. And I always tell you to do what?
Pay attention.
Exactly. This is the stuff I say, like I said, these videos are an extension because of him. This is the stuff I teach him. This is also the stuff that when I'm dead and gone, that if he decides he wants to hear my voice and hear some of the things that I've said already, he can go back and pull and draw from. This is the reason why I do this, and you all are a bonus in getting some of this stuff. That's because there's a lot of stuff that me and him have conversations on that's just not even on video. But the reality of the matter is you will need less therapy, less counseling, however you want to call it, when you actually sit every single day and evaluate what it is that you've done. What the past, the present, I don't care, whatever. And this is what I explained to him. When you dive into your past, the things that you've done, when you dive into those things and start evaluating, how could I have done this better? What decisions could I have made to do this? How can I tweak certain things? This is how you improve. This is what I explained about being perfect, also AKA mature. And if you were paying attention at the beginning of my intros in my video, it has perfect and mature there. It also has appreciate and respect. Those are definitions there. I put them there for a reason. There's a purpose for them being there. So when you actually mature perfect yourself, this is how you do it. Constantly evaluating. This is why I say I stay at least 50 steps ahead. Then he can contest. There are some things I miss, and most of the time if I'm missing them is because I already caught something that he didn't do. Therefore, I may forget what it was that I was focusing on because I'm trying to make sure that the things that he's supposed to do don't jeopardize also the things that we're also doing. This is also why I tell him to pay attention, because there is a moment that I understand how life is going to go. How do I understand how life is going to go? Because I understand that there are forces there to come to test you. And those forces will always test you with those who are close to you. So because he is close to me and he interacts with me every single day, I understand that those spirits is what I prefer to call them. But, you know, a lot of you may refer to them as unforeseen forces coming there to test, to drive a wedge. So therefore, I tell him to pay attention so he can then turn around and catch something that I may forget, because the forces is coming to use him to make me try to make me get upset with him. So then the whole day is thrown off. But no, 9 times out of 10, when I hear something I forget, he'll remember it. And then we can have the conversation on addressing what didn't you do right today. Because at the end of our conversation before I started this video, the first thing I said after we addressed everything is, if you do this every single day, by the time you're 18, you'll be better than me. And there's no doubt in my mind, because I learned this way later than he did. And as long as I'm alive and he gets to be to 18, he has me right there constantly teaching the same thing we're constantly doing. What I'm doing now is what I've been doing since day one, since he's been born. I've been doing this since day one. I evaluate myself since day one he's been born. I was doing it beforehand, but I took it to a whole nother level because I'm responsible for him. And I preach this all the time. I was saying it to my parents. I didn't ask to come here. And so because I used to tell them that, I understand that, and I hold my own self accountable to the fact that he didn't ask to come here. Therefore, I'm responsible. Therefore, I need to be thinking constantly ahead, making sure he's good, making sure that he's learning this, and this, like to the T, and trying to give it to him in detail. If those things that I feel like he's not old enough to get in detail, I won't give him all that stuff in detail. Which is why once he gets a certain age, he shouldn't have to go sit and have therapy. He shouldn't have to go sit in front of a counselor. That shouldn't have to be happening. If he is going to have some type of counsel, it would be to me or somebody who's older to say, and it's just to give the perspective of exactly how I do my dad. I don't go to counsel. I go straight to my dad. And since we've developed the relationship to where I constantly tell him, if you hear me talk louder or have some type of emotional in my verbiage, I'm doing it right now so I won't do it later. And I don't do it later. So since we've established that, and there's an understanding for that, and there's every blue moon now I have to remind him of that. It's like, no, I'm just saying it now. So I've already got this off my chest. When it comes time for me to actually have this discussion, I'm not going to respond this way. I've already seen it. And because I've already seen it and I'm processing how, if the other person was possibly my dad, or how he respond, I already know one possible reaction. So after we have this conversation, after his reaction, I then process how would that individual respond. This is stuff I'm doing. Like, I do this consistently, which is why did I not say to you, this is why you see me have very few bad moments?
Yes, sir. And
your response was, well, unless you forget something, which I've already just covered that. So it's very seldom I'm going to get out of pocket because I'm already foreseeing this stuff. All right, how do I not get myself in a trick bag? How do I not get him caught up in a trick bag with me? That's even when I'm driving. Like when I'm looking certain aspects and different areas, like, all right, I can't make this move because if they make a move, what happens if they hit us on his side? I don't want to have in my mind to think that because they were doing something foolish and you decide to do something foolish, I react and pull them out of the car and stomp them to death. because something happened to him. No, I think all this stuff in advance. This is stuff even when I'm walking, me and him walking down the street, I'm already processing who. Nope. Because it allows me not to have to react a certain way. This is why you have to be mindful of what's going on. Now, yeah. We both missed that, Curly, because now, yeah. Exactly. So what I'm going to need you to do is, nope. Go ahead and underneath, switch it off. See? The whole video right here about certain things. I'm trying to make sure that he had all the things taken care of correctly, and there was one thing missed. And an easy fix, but it's laughable right now. It's currently laughable. Oh, okay, we both missed that. Case in point, you hear the thing going off, I was like, this finna screw up with the audio. But currently nothing to get upset about. Okay, we fix it. No need to stop it, even though we're currently like 11 something minutes in. But yeah, that'll kill that right there. Furnace was kicking off, don't want to have to clean it out of the audio because that mess is gonna be too stinking loud. But whatever. But yeah, if people were actually taught what I'm saying now, they would spend less. It was especially males more so in particular. Women need a whole different. They need a whole different attention because they're emotional creatures, and they're gonna process emotionally, and we're gonna as men we're gonna process logically, as we should, unless you're a male who's been around women a lot in the majority of life. Your emotions are gonna kick in more because you haven't been taught how to control it. Which is what I try to teach my son every day. Get control of your emotions. Even when it's something he's done wrong and he may feel like he didn't deserve that punishment or whatever I took from him, and he decided he wanted to start crying or whatever. I said, I'm going to get rid of your stuff. I paid for it. And you want to get emotional. Nope. Start thinking, why did you do such and such? Okay, well, if you don't want that to happen, then you don't want me to throw Legos away. Process what you've been doing. Therefore, once you fix and clean it up, you don't have to deal with the possible threat of me throwing Legos away. And this is how he gets better, and it's a process. It's a process. All this takes time. And when you understand that everything in your life is going to take time, and you're making the proper moves and assessments of your life, you will technically not have to sit in front of somebody to tell you about your own life. I mean, I done said this before. It really shows who you are as a person and what you've been taught when you have to sit in front of someone to tell you about you. Only you know you. You know you very well. Like, I know him to a degree because he's from me, but he's not going to process the same things like I process it because, number one, he's not my age. He hasn't been here long enough. Number two, he has part of his mother's DNA. I don't have part of his mother's DNA. So therefore, I'm not going to he's not going to process like me fully. He'll process under my tutelage like me in time, but currently he's going to process some of the stuff like his mother because that part of him is in him. So it's imperative to understand this type of stuff. These type of conversations should be happening, but I can see, like I said, when I go to work all the time, I can see who's not getting this kind of stuff. So this is why I make this video. This is part of me going into detail, just giving a rough synopsis because I could be here all day. First thing you need to, before we end this video, like I told my son, the first thing you need to do towards the end of your day, whether you sitting down and give thanks to whoever it is, the man upstairs, however you want to do it. The next part is, all right, what did I do wrong today? Or what did I do that I could have actually done better? What caused me to do such and such and such? Was I being lazy? Was I was rushing and then I could have did this on time or been more on time? Okay, well, tomorrow I'm not going to do that. These are things I have on myself because there are sometimes where I put off stuff. Well, I was dragging today because I rode the bike this however long. I worked out, I did this and I did this, and I didn't stretch this morning. So now I'm even more tired and I'm barely moving around. I'm not as young as I used to be, so I need to stretch. So how do I prevent not doing this again? Okay, get my butt up and stretch. These are things that has to happen. These are things that you have to evaluate yourself on. So it's all right. Okay, cool. I didn't do this right. So what do I need to do to turn around and fix this issue? Okay, if I didn't do that right, okay, how can I improve it? Okay, yeah, I messed up. Okay, I'm gonna own it. So it's you have to do these things. And if you did do something that you messed up, and if it's possibly too late, you send a text message as a draft. You can put it as a draft, or and turn around, and when you see it, because I know how my phone does, it'll show up as a draft, and then it doesn't have to send. When you pull it up and open it up, and the next morning, it's there for you. It's going to be the first thing you there, because the drafts puts on Samsungs, it automatically put it up as the newest message unless something else comes in front of it. But there are times if I did something with somebody, I'm just going to get that mess out of the way. Like, hey, that was my fault, my bad. Own your stuff. You don't need to sit in front of somebody for you to own it. If you're evaluating, you just flat out own it yourself. You don't need somebody to tell you that. This is when you're honest and true to you. This is why I quote that quote that I can't think of it, but it's Shakespeare time. I possibly believe, but to thy own self be true. You gotta tell the truth on you. Tell the truth on yourself. This is how you improve. This is how people will come to you and tell you their business. I'm telling the truth on my own self. Fortunate enough, it's in my DNA, because this is what my dad do. He will gladly tell the truth on himself. I find myself, I do the same thing. And I'm sure he's going to do the same thing too, because it's in his DNA. He's around. That's what he's around. So, be truthful with yourself. Don't put yes men around you because you don't want to face the truth. You're doing yourself a disservice and an injustice, in which, yeah, you will need a therapist to turn around and tell you this, because you don't want to tell it to yourself. When you're true to yourself and you can own up to your own stuff, you don't need to sit in front of somebody. This is why I know there are videos where I say, oh yeah, that was stupid. I know I was stupid. I have no problem with saying that to myself. I don't need to say that to anybody else, but to myself, yes, I know. Why? Because I did something stupid. It's not finna bother me, because I know it's a fact. I'm not finna run from the fact that I did something stupid. Oh yeah, I was ignorant on that, man. I didn't know that. You know what? How do I make up for that? I need to go learn that so I don't get exposed. Because the fact of the matter is, I understand I don't know everything. And there's some stuff that I did know that I don't even hardly remember, because I haven't been activating it for a while. Because I'm doing so many other things. This is something I know. I know not to open my mouth in certain situations, because I may expose myself, and then people look at me like, what the heck was he just talking about? What the heck did he do? This is called wisdom. Learning how to apply wisdom. Best to keep your mouth closed on certain things. But with that being said, yeah, I'm pushing close to 20. I wanted this to be 15, and unfortunately it ain't. So, if you've made it this far, I truly appreciate that you've made it this far. Can't bless you with nothing right currently, but the knowledge that I have. But thank you so much for your time. Hit that like, share, subscribe button, and most of all, mature, be better, strive to be perfect, which it's a maturation process. And in all things that you do, look to do them well. Look to be an encouragement to yourself, an encouragement to others, and that it may come back to you. And with that being said, it's your boy, Will My Craven. Be easy.